Before Slenderman lurked in the woods, internet horror was basically pretty mid-comments basically forcing you to forward this message to 12 of your friends, or your grandma will fall from the second-story window and break her neck. Creepypastas were the thing. They were simple, text copied and pasted across sites like 4chan, possibly Reddit, and the Creepypasta wiki. Think of them as cringe compilations, but for bookworms. We had Jeff the Killer, terrified millions with his pale face and smile that said, "I'm totally a serial killer," but also maybe an early 2000s emo kid whose mom might be kinda homeless. Ben Drown was basically just Ocarina of Time, but cursed. Russian sleep experiment proved that the scariest thing of all is sleep deprivation. Yeah, not sleeping can fuck you up. These stories spread like wildfire, and because they lived online, anyone could add to them. The creepypasta monster multiverse was born. Meanwhile, in gaming, the Let's Play scene was booming. PewDiePie, a Swedish man armed with a webcam and the lung capacity of a fucking whale, single-handedly put Amnesia: The Dark Descent on the map for other gamers to experience. His videos were a mix of high-pitched screams, barrel jokes, and the occasional brofist. And you can't forget about Stefano. This was important because it proved something new. Horror didn't just scare players, it scared audiences. Watching someone panic was hilarious. Indie devs realized they could design games not just to scare people playing, but also to make for a viral viewing. Before Slender, indie horror was still awkwardly finding its voice. Games like Penumbra or The House had atmosphere but were niche. Flash games on Newgrounds tried, but most were more spooky skeletons than existential terror. The stage was set, the creepypasta legends were online, the YouTubers were ready to scream, and then one tall, faceless man in a business suit stepped into the forest. It was 2012. The world was supposed to end that year, according to the Mayans. It didn't. But what we got instead was arguably worse. Slender the 8 Pages. Developed by Parsec Productions, it was such a simple game with a simple task. You're in a forest at 3 AM. You need to collect 8 pages scattered around random landmarks. Don't look at Slenderman, don't let Slenderman look at you, and don't poop your pants. That task is optional, but it's a bit difficult. And that's it. No guns, no weapons, no way to fight back. Your only tools were a flashlight, your 2 legs, because it's just a walking sim, and the willpower to not throw your entire setup out of a 4-story building due to static jumpscare. The genius of Slender was its simplicity. Horror games up until then usually had combat, or at least some kind of mechanic that gave you a sense of control. Slender ripped all that away and said, "Get good, Soulsborne style." And the fear worked. The forest was pitch black, the ambience was oppressive, and the creepy noise grew louder the more pages you collected. It was like the game itself was trying to judge you for your bad life decisions. Because why would you sit there in a dark room and collect a few pages from someone's notebook in order to shit your secret lab Titan Evo chair? The jump scares? Legendary. One moment you're calmly exploring, the next you turn around and BAM! Slenderman is there. Because imagine casually living your life doing your day-to-day stuff with a tall, faceless man following you around. And the worst part, nobody else acknowledges it. You're out with your friends watching a movie and notice someone in the film that seems out of place, asking them, "Hey, did you see that tall faceless guy?" And your friend's like, "Nah man, it's the vent hitting bruh." Then you start tweaking as fuck, allowing Slendy to violently air hump you as you're vent leaning. But the real secret sauce was timing. Slenderman wasn't invented by the game, he was born on Something Awful forums back in 2009. A photoshopped figure placed into old family pictures, just tall enough and just blurry enough to be unnerving. Marble Hornets, a YouTube series that treated Slenderman as a real found footage villain, turned him into a full-blown urban legend. So when Slender the 8 Pages dropped, people were already scared of him. It was like finding out Shrek 2 finally got its own Steam release. That's funny because Shrek 2 doesn't have a Steam release. It was funny in my head. And the internet went insane. Everyone played it. Streamers, YouTubers, kids at sleepovers, grown adults who swore they were too mature for this. Memes exploded.
Kill yourself!
People started reporting real-life sightings, which again were usually just tall guys in hoodies standing too close to playgrounds. Naturally, success breeds imitation. Soon the market was flooded with Slender clones. Slender Tubbies. Because you know, kid shows are scary. Any game where Slenderman is replaced by Shrek. Is Shrek still love? Is Shrek still life? And my personal favorite, Slender Gus, which came out a few years ago. But imagine Among Us and Slenderman having sex. No, don't. Even Hollywood tried to join the chat. The Slenderman movie came out in 2018, and let's be honest, it was not good. 8% on Rotten Tomatoes, and the lead role was Joey King from The Kissing Booth. Yet that one got sequels. For a while, Slenderman wasn't just a monster. He was everywhere. In stories, memes, YouTube, fan art, and I've even seen Slenderman in porn. But like all memes, the tall man's reign couldn't last forever. By 2014, another game had stolen the YouTube horror crown, Five Nights at Freddy's. It took the same formula, simple mechanics, terrifying ambience, unkillable monsters, and they swapped out faceless businessmen for possessed animatronics. FNAF became the new viral juggernaut, and while Slenderman still lingered in the woods, Freddy Fazbear was busy dominating the internet, spawning sequels, fan theories, and more cheap copies than Fortnite skins in the item shop. Slenderman's cultural impact started to fade. His mythology became less scary and more awkward. At some point, he stopped being terrifying and started looking more like me at the family function. Antisocial and very awkward. But his legacy, untouchable. Without Slender the 8 Pages, there is no FNAF, no Poppy Playtime, and no Garden of Banban. Slender proved that horror could be boiled down to something incredibly simple and still work. You don't need realistic graphics, you don't need combat. Sometimes, all you need is a flashlight, a forest, and crippling social anxiety. He may not dominate pop culture anymore, but every once in a while, when you're walking in the woods at night, you get that feeling that someone tall, faceless, silent is watching you jerk it behind a tree. Man, stop doing that shit. That's weird. And if you turn around and see him, don't worry. It's just the vent hitting hard.
Breaking news. Historians estimate that 73% of Slender clones were made in under 24 hours using free Unity assets. Scientists agree that the only thing scarier than Slender Man is the 6'7" meme. What the fuck does it even mean? And experts conclude that while Slender Man may no longer dominate the horror genre, he will forever haunt the collective memory of the internet's early 2010s, standing tall as a reminder of how fear, memes, and cheap indie graphics combine to create a cultural legend.